Hello everyone and welcome to round 2 of the URL-GT1 Championship. We are at the legendary Mount Panorama Bathurst circuit and 23 drivers are on the grid. These are the qualifying results. Peter Backus had a dominating pole position with a 1:57.1, 7/10 clear of Peter Abelovsky, and then Florian Kutz. The rest of the gaps were very small. We also had two newcomers, Muxi Istvan and Alex Lausch. They are respectively in 10th and in 16th. In the AM Cup, it was Rob Timpen taking the pole in front of Carlos Diaz and Sando Donadel. So let's have a look at the highlights of the race. So here we are on the grid and have a look at the first two positions. Unfortunately, Peter Backus was too eager and also Peter Abelovsky. They both jumped the start and Peter Backus would be disqualified due to this, which means Peter Abelovsky is now at the front of the field, but also will have to serve a stop-and-go penalty at the or within 3 laps. Here we are going up to Mountain Straight. Everyone keeps it clean. There was some chaos on the start, finish straight, but here everyone is streaming here, going up to the mountain. There is a bit of chaos there in the back, collision between Rob Timpen and Carlos Diaz. Some drivers have to slow down, but everyone gets through quite well. So back to the front, Peter Abelovsky is in first, but he will have to serve his penalty. So effectively it's Tony Ukic at the moment in second, followed by Florian Kutz, then Mikko Korkiakowski and Robert Horvat. Alex Scott made it up to P6 from his starting position. And here we are going through Skyline, very tricky, certainly on cold brakes and tires, but everyone seems to get it right here on the first lap. Here is Rob Timpen and then Carlos Diaz. Michal Klisch is in 21st, so he obviously had some kind of problem. And here, going down Conrad Straight to end the lap, Florian Kutz in the Saline gets side by side with the panos of Tony Ukic and he takes the position, so he effectively takes over the lead of the race at this moment. Of course we have 70 minutes to go, so still a lot can happen. Peter Abelovsky will dive into the pits straight away from lap 1. And on the left you can see the standings crossing the line on the first lap. Florian Kutz, Tony Ukic, Mikko Korkiakowski, and then in the AM Cup it's Matthias Christensen in 15th, first, and then Sando Donadel and teammate Chris Simpson. So the newcomers in 9th and 13th position. Ethan Bass unfortunately didn't make it to the start of the race, but he showed some good pace in qualifying, so he's someone to take into account for the next races. And then on the second lap the track started to catch out some people. This was Andrei Golubnici having a big slide. Here is Robert Horvat getting it wrong in the Skyline, and we see on board Michal Klisch having to take avoiding action, but everyone keeps it clean. And then here Robert Horvat suffering suspension damage after his spin, and have a close look at him. He will get onto the grass and get T-boned by Miguel Santiago Carao, and also Alex Lausch here was involved. Peter Abelovsky is now already in P19 after his stop-and-go penalty, and he's picking up the pieces. He's trying to get past Miguel and Alex Lausch. Miguel cuts him off a bit aggressively, but still they get past Alex Lausch and they make their way back up the field. A couple of laps later, Peter got behind Rob Timpen and Sando Donadel, battling for what I think is the lead in the AM Cup, unless Matthias Christensen is still in front. And it would get very close there indeed. Peter Abelovsky slicing through these two, they're letting them through. Sando Donadel going a bit wide, so can Rob Timpen take any advantage, or will Miguel make a brave move into this difficult braking zone. Sandro goes a bit wide, so he has to let Rob through in the Ferrari 599. But Miguel has to stay behind for now, so that puts a gap between him and Peter Abelovsky. On this track it's really about keeping it out of the barriers. Sandro Donadel moves over for Miguel, and here they go through the skyline, a bit wide there from Miguel as well. Rob Timpen then got chased by Alex Lausch, and his tiniest mistake gets him onto the gravel, and Alex Lausch made his way through in the Corvette. So very close racing throughout the whole race. Carlos Diaz was behind one of the two Koenigsegg drivers, and he will take 2 positions, avoiding Rob Timpen, and I think it was also Sandro Donadel. So it was Florian Kutz leading the race, Tony Ilkic not too far behind, then Mikko Korkiakowski with a same gap more or less, then Alex Scott and Michal Klisch right behind him to make up the top 5, then Felix Boucher, Greg Metcalf and Manlio Liguori. And Manlio is about to make a move on Greg, but that Nissan is awfully quick on the straight. Oh, Manlio cuts back in front of Greg. That was maybe not the best idea after completing the pass, but makes the move stick, and he takes P7 from Greg Metcalf. Here's Michal Klisch chasing down Alex Scott and going a little bit wide on the first turn. This puts him into the wall, and Felix Boucher is not too far back. Let's see if he can capitalize on that mistake. We don't know yet if Michal has a lot of damage, but I'm sure he will feel it in the aero package of the car. We see Felix closing on him very quickly, and completing the pass here around the outside. Very difficult braking zone, but he will get the job done without touching any wall, so very nice move there. And Michal had a lot of damage on his front splitter, and have a look here, almost getting airborne with the Saleen, so he will have to dive into the pits. So here's Mikko Korkiakowski. He obviously has closed the gap back down to Tony Ilkic. Alex Scott is a bit further back, and Michal Klisch is now not behind him anymore. Sten Mikkel Olsen is behind Felix Boucher in 6th, and then it's Peter Abelovsky already in P8, right behind Greg Metcalf. They are having a big battle as well. Manlio Liguori is behind them, so he had to concede the position back to Greg. Here's the rest of the field. Sandro Donadel here in P12. Michal Klisch in 14th, and this is just before the pit stops. So here's Florian coming into the pits, and Tony follows him right into the pits. I can tell you that Florian will have a slow stop. He will have a technical difficulty in the pit stop, and he will lose about 15 to 20 seconds due to that. So he will fall back a couple of places, losing the lead of the race. Mikko Korkiakowski came in a lap later, and we already saw Tony Ilkic getting past. And here is Chris Simpton. He's the last one of the AM guys to pit, and on the straight we see Rob Timpen. He's the leader in the AM Cup after Chris's pit stop. Sandro Donadel is in 2nd. Then is Andrei Golubnici, which is not an AM driver, and then is Carlos Diaz in 17th. Alex Lausch wrecked the engine of his car, and he's stuck in the grass, but no yellow flags or safety cars out at the moment. So effectively Tony Ilkic retook the lead of the race after Florian's issues in the pits. Alex Scott was now in 3rd, and he was being followed by Florian Kutz, so he fell back to P4 in the Saleen. Let's see if Florian can retake a podium position to still have a good result to the end of to this race here for round 2. It will be very difficult for him to still catch Tony and Miko, but a podium is always nice to have. Can Florian go around the outside? No, he has to stay behind Alex for now. But Alex is taking some defensive lines, and that can cost him. Oh, he cuts a bit, turns in a bit too early, hits the wall, and that's it. Florian is through, and I don't think with that aero damage that Alex will be able to make any move again. Peter Abelovsky made it up to P7 from his first lap stop and go penalty, and Michal getting onto the grass slightly and losing the position to Peter Abelovsky, so he is up into 6th. There is Rob Timpen, as it got very close here in the AM Cup. Sandro Donadel is here in 2nd. He will get passed by Andrei Golubnici. And these guys here are being lapped. I think this is Florian Kutz, or it might be Michal Klisch getting past these guys. Carlos Diaz also letting Greg Metcalf through, so that's effectively Michal Klisch in front. Then he got very close. Sando going aside for Greg Metcalf, but he didn't see Carlos Diaz there right behind him, so he loses the position. Greg Metcalf then right behind Michal Klisch with the Nissan Power, but the Celine has some good straight line speed as well, it seems. Greg's on the inside, they touch a little bit, but Greg will take the position legitimately. And here we are for the end of this thrilling race, action-packed. Tony Ukic, the reigning champion from last season, will take his first win of the season. The last corner here, always very tricky, very easy to go wide and across the line to take his first win of the season. Miko Korkiakowski not too far behind in the Lamborghini, will finish in 2nd position. Then Florian Kutz, he made it up to P3, getting past Alex Scott in the Ferrari F40. Peter Abelovsky made it up to P5, followed by Felix Boucher, so Felix made a bit of a mistake and had to let Peter Abelovsky pass. Then Greg Metcalf, Milo Liguori, Sten Mikkel Olsen in P9. Then Michal Klisch rounding up the top 10. He had a bad second stint, had to concede some positions. Miguel Santiago Carao in 11th. Muxi Istvan finishing in 12th in his first URL race. Rob Timpen taking the win in the AM Cup in P13 overall. Carlos Diaz in 2nd position in the AM Cup. Then Andrei Golubnici and Sando Donadel rounding up the podium for the AM Cup as well, followed by his teammate Chris Simpson, Yevgeny Leonov, Matthias Christensen, Robert Horvat, and Peter Backus as well didn't make it to the end of the race. And as well Alex Lausch, but he had to leave the server due to technical difficulties. So here are the full results. Florian Kutz was the fastest man on track by quite some margin if we look at the fastest lap. So he went half a second quicker than the rest. But it wasn't meant to be. Small issues in the pit stop mean he couldn't finish first, but had to settle for 3rd. Tony Ukic taking the win, followed by Miko Korkiakowski. And then, as I said, Rob Timpen, Carlos Diaz and Sando Donadel on the AM podium. So that's it for the 2nd round of the URL-GT1 Championship. Next week, or next round, will be at Long Beach, and that won't be next week. That will be in 2 weeks, as we will start the Acero Corsa GTR3 League, or GT3 League, next week Tuesday, same hour, same place at UnitedRacersLeague.com. So stay tuned and join us on our website.